My name is Lewis Shepherd and I am 12 years old.
Lewis is a really sporty kid. He loves any sports, particularly cricket, swimming, AFL, rock climbing, golf, anything. But cricket is his real passion.
I love playing cricket because it's such an exciting game and you never know what's going to happen.
Lewis is a very bright young boy. He is a walking encyclopedia. He has a couple of special topics: war, history, geography, and you definitely want him on your trivia team.
I like reading about World War II and the strategy involved.
I was born deaf. I wear cochlear implants to hear.
I have some balance issues and I am losing my sight.
Lewis has Usher syndrome. Usher syndrome is a genetic condition that causes deafness, deteriorating vision and vestibular dysfunction. You and I may see 180 degrees or so in our peripheral vision. Lewis has actually deteriorated to around 30 degrees, so he can't see anything outside of that range. And that is actually getting worse year after year. Lewis was diagnosed with Usher syndrome when he was 3.5, and it was just absolutely crushing for our family. We were still coming to terms with our son growing up with a profound hearing loss and what that meant for his future. And then we were told that he was now going to lose his vision as well. And we just didn't know how his future was going to pan out. We just were so worried about, was he going to access university, education, travel, independence, all of those things that you want your kids to do. We just didn't know if that was in his reach anymore. Sometimes as a family it feels like we're living with a real sense of urgency, like there's this race against time to give Lewis all of these experiences or teach him all of the skills that he's going to need in the future before he has lost his vision.
My vision in the future sometimes scares me, but I try not to think about it too much. Gaming is something that I like to do with my friends, and nobody can tell that I've got a disability.
Technology plays a really important part in our lives. It helps Lewis have access to the world around him. He uses cochlear implants to access speech and language. He also relies on captions on the TV. He really likes to listen to audiobooks, and he uses a vibrating alarm in case there's a fire emergency. Sometimes technology can really let us down, and that's when we rely on sign language, particularly if we don't have access to his cochlear implants, when he's swimming or overnight, or when, mum forgets his batteries or something, we go back to relying on sign language. We don't want to let Usher syndrome define us or define our family. And we certainly don't want Lewis to be known as the kid with Usher syndrome. We want him to be known for being Lewis and all the wonderful things that he is. We're really hopeful about the future. We're really excited to travel to meet other people in our Usher community and just have some fun along the way. Go to all these places that we've read about in books and enjoy all that life has to offer.
My name is Ellie and I live in Brisbane. I'm a very proud mum. I have 3 grown-up children. I really enjoy cooking and I'm addicted to craft. Making things with my hands is how I relax. I was born with Usher syndrome. I'm losing my peripheral vision and I am profoundly deaf. I love to read and I don't want to stop. I use a magnifier now, but if my vision gets worse, I will need to learn Braille. I really like socialising with my family and deaf friends, but I don't like going out alone. I don't like using public transport, like train stations and bus stations. There is a huge risk of falls with the stairs, so I'm using them less and less. I rely on support workers, referred to as comm guides, who are specialised in supporting deafblind clients. I love working with them and they make me feel relaxed and less anxious when I go out. Being deafblind is really hard. It can be very isolating not knowing what's happening around you. Catching up with family and friends helps me to feel connected with the world, and it's great for my mental health. I am concerned about losing my sight in the future. It will mean a lot of change and a loss of independence. But I try not to focus on that and just think positive. My goal is to be as independent as I can be, to stay connected to family and friends, and to travel around Australia.
Caleb and Ollie are twin boys who have just turned 8 years old. They both have a rare genetic syndrome called TARP syndrome, and Ollie also has cerebral palsy. Caleb has a vision impairment. He sees about 30 centimetres clearly in front of him without his glasses, and he also uses hearing aids.
I'll never forget that day where he was first fitted with his first set of hearing aids and seeing him connect to the sound of the maraca. It was just priceless.
Is that good, Bubby? Caleb and Ollie are both non-verbal, and the main focus that we'd like for Ollie and Caleb is for them to have independence, a way to communicate not just only with us but other people, and then be able to socialise with others as well. That's really important for us.
When you're leaving your kids with complex needs, especially ones that are non-verbal, with a person who isn't related to you in any way, you need to have that strong level of trust to know that you can go away guilt-free and know that they will be looked after and have their routine followed.
Our job as parents is to build a community for Ollie and Caleb of family, friends, support workers, therapists, medical practitioners, people who know Ollie and Caleb, have their best interests at heart, and will do anything to build them up.
The people we surround ourselves with are ones that we actively know are working to try and better our kids and develop them to be amazing humans.
Ollie and Caleb attend a special school. The teachers and all the staff there are just amazing.
We use many ways to communicate with Caleb, and that includes a high contrast pod. We use our voice and verbal communication because he has hearing aids. I also wear a Roger system, and we have different technologies like a talking timetable and an iPad.
You've got more to say.
Good. We would love to see Caleb and Ollie walk away with a robust communication system so they can get their messages to anyone they want, when they want, and have their needs met.
We don't ever want to limit the children or their abilities just because they have a disability. Both the boys are very clever, they're always learning, and so are we.
The future can sometimes be very scary. We don't yet know what Ollie's life expectancy is going to look like. So that is something that's been quite confronting for us for a number of years. Whatever that turns out to be, we will make sure that both of these boys are given every opportunity to be incredible kids, incredible humans, and be as independent as possible.
My name's Lisa. I live in Sydney. I was born with a hearing impairment and Charge syndrome. When I was 21, I lost my vision. Becoming blind was very traumatic. It felt like my world turned upside down. I didn't know what to do, and as a result, I shut down. I needed lots of support from family, doctors, and from the deafblind community. They all encouraged me to keep going and to accept my condition. They taught me how to communicate using Auslan and assistive technology. In August 2018, I moved out of my family home to where I am now living independently. I wanted to move out of home because I wanted to enjoy my freedom, independence, and privacy. I didn't want to be a burden to my family. I have 3 comm guides who support me. They take me to medical appointments, to the local shops, and help me run errands. When I moved here, I was very nervous living on my own, so I got 2 dogs to keep me safe and to keep me company. They are really helpful to me. The hardest part for me is making sure that I have the right interpreters and the right support workers. I am excited about the future. I'd like to get married, to have children. I want to study. I also want to travel, and I want to gain employment. I want to encourage all deafblind people to be brave, be positive, ask for help, get the right supports, and be happy and enjoy your life. Thanks for listening.
When I was young, I wasn't aware I had a disability. I was hopeless at ball sports, just couldn't see the ball at all, so focused on swimming instead. When I was diagnosed as being vision impaired, I was told to buy a good pair of sunglasses and get on with my life. Back then in the 70s, there were no organisations to support me and assistive technology did not exist. I worked for 42 years as a nurse and loved it. I had to stop purely because I lost the ability to read. I couldn't read the back of medication packets anymore, and doctors' writing was almost impossible. At 55, I was declared legally blind. I had to give up my nursing licence and I had to start using a white cane. When I stopped, it was devastating for me, and I had nothing to replace a career that I really loved. Becoming involved with the deafblind community was extremely important to me. It gave me a sense of purpose and identity. It made me realise that I wasn't the only one out there with this situation, and it made me realise how lucky and fortunate I'd actually been. I became involved on the Deafblind West Australian board. I got the role as treasurer. It has been challenging, but I have achieved things that I would have never achieved in my previous life. Coming to accept being deafblind has been a journey. I actually haven't accepted it. I have learnt to live with it and adjust on how I do things. Technology is extremely valuable in my life. It enables me to maintain a level of independence. Firstly, I have a hearing aid and cochlea. I have a screen magnifier which magnifies the text, which enables me to read. I also use Zoom Text Fusion, which talks to me and tells me where I am on the screen. Doing all the activities I do, cooking, even basic cleaning, still gives me a sense of purpose. It's challenging, but I keep trying. I love golf. It's a stupid game, but it's just being out there doing something for myself. Every time I allow someone to assist or to do something for me, I feel that I lower the bar for the next generation. I want the next generation to know what is possible. I feel the advancement of technology and increased public awareness is going to provide a very bright future for the deafblind.